Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse an unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/BEAT.
And I see the robin.
I'm just searching for equality, looking for some reason, no finding no apologies. But I do want opportunity, hard work, it ain't new to me.
Hey guys, it's your girl Rach Da Gem back for another episode of Melanin Blvd, and this week I'm joined with two of my favorite guys. We got Big Los, and we got Sky.
Whole government. Everybody be looking for me.
I'm sorry.
It's Luciendo Escobar. You got it's on the name.
You know, I don't use nicknames with you guys. I call you your full name. I call you your full name. That's your name. That's what your mama named you.
What's fucked up, Boulevard attendees? She don't even call me Carlos. She always calls me Los. I don't know where this just came from.
I do call you Carlos.
When?
All the time.
Nobody gonna tell me I was ashy, but I'm listening.
So, I'm not gonna call you Big Los. Like, I don't know. It's weird. So this week, I'm excited because a show came out that broke my heart for about 2 seconds. Black AF. If you didn't know, I had that title in my heart, and then when I saw the advertisement for Black AF, I was pretty upset because now that's probably a title that I can't use for myself anymore. So I want to talk about the show, and I want to talk about how some Black people use certain things to validate their Blackness. But first, Big Los, let's have you introduce yourself and let everybody know what you do, if the people don't know.
Just in case y'all don't know, this is probably my 6th time being on your show. 5th.
Has it? You been on that many shows?
I've been here a few times, but what's happening to the Boulevard? It's your boy Big Los of the Noise Podcast. I do podcasting, and I also am El Capitan of Beat Network, the umbrella company for Melanin Blvd, who we recently acquired, or at least brought on board. I am always fucking working. And that is that is pretty much all I do. I'm always working.
Okay. And Sky?
Oh man, mine is way easier than Carlos's. My name is Sky. I've been on here twice. This will be number 2. I feel like. Looking forward to it. I am the COO of Beat Network, so I don't have an individual show, but I get the opportunity to work the outside crowd. So I get taking kids, baby, shake hands. I'm the dude you see ripping and running, trying to get people to support what we got going on here. So, and I'm also Carlos's brother, so that's always a beautiful thing. I call it Carlos. So.
Well, that's his name.
All
right.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for taking time out and being on the Boulevard. Anything that you guys want to talk about that you have coming up before we get into this topic?
Yeah, real quick. So next week, Friday, I was totally unprepared with the date because there was entire other conversation going on prior to this one. But next Friday, the show comes out Thursday the 23rd, and I'm stalling as I get my calendar pulled up. So next Friday, which would be the 1st, it would be May 1st, which would put us at like close to 2 months of quarantine and a little bit of cabin fever. We will be doing a live game show. It'll be B Network Presents 2 Minute Drill. That was going to be presented by the gentleman from Back to the Classics, Dave Neff and Jay Alonzo. If you are a movie head, if you at least know something about movies, we definitely want you guys to participate. Send your email to Rach Da Gem. Rachel, rather.
Oh, now you got to catch these paws.
Send in your email and your name to her, and we'll be in contact with the rules for the game and when we need you guys to come through. It's going to be a really fun time, man. We're really just trying to, keep positivity rolling through social media. And one of the ways is just getting everybody involved and having a little game night and doing something different, like some trivia, some quizzes. So if you know at least something about movies and you're not afraid to be on camera as we good folks aren't rather, come holla at us.
Okay.
And of course, the noise every Monday.
Anything going on with you, Sky? Period.
My list again is way shorter. I'm just working on my second book, so I'm looking to get my second book out, poetry out by my birthday, so in November. Kind of what I got going on. Outside of that, anything deep has going on is inherently things I have going on. So apparently, we have a game show coming out next Friday.
Yes,
It's
we do.
coming. It's happening.
Cool. So you guys watch out for that game show. If you haven't already, check out the sample of Melanin Blvd After Dark. It's available on all podcast platforms under Melanin Blvd. It's like a PG and a half, 13. It's like a PG 12 and a half episode. It doesn't get that crazy, but I wanted to give you guys like a little sample of what you can expect. So I plan on doing some reviews of like a adult store haul. Like it's gonna be cracking. So you guys make sure you stay tuned. That'll be available on Patreon.
Still plan on going live and giving head during the show, or is that mixed?
Absolutely. Yep. Definitely have that in the mix, OnlyFans page. All that is coming. So
Yes, sir.
don't you fret. I got y'all. So let's talk about Black AF. Okay, so it's produced by Lena Waithe and some other people. Kenya Barris.
Yep.
What was your initial reaction to seeing the first episode?
Go ahead, Scott.
It took me 3 times to try to get through the first episode, but that's largely because I get bored with things very fast when they're super corny, so I walk away. But Big Los told me I had to kind of keep pushing through it. The shows do gradually get better, but that first episode, that was rough. That was hard, man. I didn't get past the first 15 minutes twice.
I think that one of the comments I made to Scott watching it, and this is just kind of me coming from the creative standpoint, if they had put as much effort into the comedic beats than they were trying to drive home the fact that we're establishing our blackness in a white institution, then the show from a comedic standpoint probably would have been better. But because they were putting so much focus on driving home the fact that this is a black man thriving in an industry that normally is controlled by white people, which to me is a very interesting premise, because that's just what this industry is. But you were putting too much on it. Like one thing I always say is I love black things, but I hate when the black thing is just look how black this is.
Mm-hmm.
So black, like, you don't have to be subtle with presenting your blackness, but at the same time, you don't have to ram it down somebody's throat, because ultimately you're doing it for an audience who's not going to pay attention because you're ramming the blackness down their throat. And then you're alienating the actual black watchers by, putting so much focus on this, and then really, I'm pretty sure it'll be something you'll get into, Rach, but really not even getting the point across the way that you want to.
Mm-hmm.
You're alienating, and you're kind of, from an intellectual standpoint, you're insulting the watcher's intelligence, and you're driving away people that really should be, consuming this message. So just from a content standpoint, that's how I feel about it. As far as a personal standpoint, it's not for me. I think that what they had planned for it, good intentions, bad execution. It happens to everybody. So they couldn't really it couldn't really escape being a victim with it. And I just think they really could have done something a lot better. I think our version of Black AF was going to be something way more lit.
Yeah.
It was funny because when you sent me the text message, you was like, "Nah, we can still do it. Not so many people know about it." I'm like, it's Netflix.
Everybody knows about it. I was like, damn
Everyone
it.
knows what's going on. And then it sparked so much conversation, which is kind of surprising to me because Blackish and Grownish doesn't get the conversation that Black AF has gotten, which shows that they dropped the ball with their presentation of the show. So it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And I'm black as fuck.
Yeah. First episode, I wasn't gonna make it. I tapped out like 3 times. I was just like, I hate it here. I want to go home. This is not where I want to be. I was like, was Lena Waithe late to this recording? Where is she? It was terrible. I freaking hated it. I feel like they just went on set with like, well, she's late, so we got an hour in the studio. We gotta make it happen. Like, what happened? So after like the first 15 minutes, I was like, okay, I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. And then I watched maybe like 3 or 4 more episodes, and I was like, it's not as bad as it was in the first episode, but it's not good either. And I was so mad because I was like, they took my name, and then the show sucks at that. Y'all should just go ahead and give it on back to me. I'm gonna write a letter. But so not only was it not for me. One thing I can say was that whoever is over the scoring of the show, whoever did the music, kudos to y'all.
Scoring and the casting, they used all that Netflix budget.
Yeah, they did. The people who showed up, the cameos, like, y'all use your little money wisely. But I think that and this is okay as we evolve as Black people. I think it's another version of Blackish, a richer, a little cornier version. And these kids talk real reckless, and I don't like it. Yeah, they gonna.
That was the intention. So Kenya Barris did the interview before the show dropped, and it was, to me, this is, he just took Blackish and just started cursing.
Yeah.
That's all you really change. The premise is the same. You got a bunch of fuck ass kids. I mean, there's nothing different between the two shows with the exception of you just cursing.
Right.
But to I guess he was trying to create an exaggerated version of himself. My issue with that is you got to be the type of celebrity people already know who the fuck you are anyway.
Right.
That part. Know who you are. So I don't know if this is an exaggeration or you just, I thought it was satirical at first. It kind of builds on. It was corny. I just couldn't get with it.
It's like Blackish with cussing, then with like a sprinkle of Modern Family. It doesn't feel original, like at all.
Yeah. So my question to you is, even though this is like another Blackish, as Black people, can we have shows that are that similar? Because, how many versions of Friends are there? Yeah. There's a lot of versions of Friends. So I think the fact that people are kind of ripping it apart, saying that it is another version of Blackish, it is another show. But can't we have that? Do you think we should have that? Is it okay to have that?
Scott.
I was about to pass it to you. I was gonna let you have.
All right. Unfortunately, where we are with media and content creation is that you're not going to be the first, second, or third person to think of something. Everything that's out there has been done at some point. I always have the conversation with people. Scarface is my favorite movie. Scarface is a remake, and a lot of people don't know that. You're not the first person to come up with an idea. It's what you do with that idea. And again, execution. Execution means everything. Mm-hmm. Is there a space for, shows to, cater to Blackness and cater to the Black experience and everything like that? Absolutely. Unfortunately, that's probably one of the few ways that, it's one of the things I've said about Blackish. It's one of the few ways to humanize us to the opposition through media, because they only see us as monsters and thugs and animals and all this other shit. It's the only way to do it. Not saying that we need it. Not saying that anybody necessarily wants it or is pushing for that. But the unfortunate side of it that is success comes from those streams. Success comes from those views, from the Nielsen ratings and everything like that. And we're still the minority, So,
Mm-hmm.
we don't need their approval, but sometimes we need their looks. Um, and again, that's kind of coming from the creative standpoint. From a personal standpoint, I love it. I just love it when it's done right.
Mm-hmm.
It makes more sense to have all your ducks in a row, know what point you want to get across, and then finding subtle ways to make that point. It's hard to, for example, when you watch movies with, I guess let me give my disclaimer. I'm not sexist. I always have to say that because I have a dick.
Oh, yeah.
For
Sips tea.
for example, I look at the female led um, reboots of movies, or just female led movies nowadays. There's
Mm-hmm.
more focus put on women's empowerment than there is on a good script.
I
Uh,
need examples.
what was the movie with Viola Davis that just came out like a year or two ago? What, Widows?
With
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I bullshit you not. Anybody that saw Widows, let me know. Let me know if I'm full of shit or not. The entire movie of Widows was them basically trying to fix some shit that their husbands fucked up because people don't think they have the balls to do it. Rach, no one doubted a single person in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, the ill nigga that was going after them approached the wife and said, "Get me my money." It was put into her hands to get it done. But the entire movie was set up to be, oh, they look down on us because we're women. They think that we can't accomplish something that's, something like this because this is more of a male dominated area dealing with drugs and money and all this other stuff. Another one, Ghostbusters, all female cast.
yeah, that
Should
was
have been way better. Should have been way better, especially because they all had some kind of connection back to the original Ghostbusters. But that entire movie was just dedicated to women, yeah, which is not a problem. But if that's where your focus is going to be, you need a strong script that's going to support that. And if that script's not there, the only thing you're taking away from this, well, I'm glad that those women got a big check. That's what's up. Like, that's you're getting equal pay. That's great. This movie's garbage, and then it's a scapegoat to say, oh well, this movie wasn't supported because men don't want to see women lead actresses. Stuff like I feel like that's putting too much into it, and I feel like a lot of black creatives do that. Your focus is on the black message, and it's not on being entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to YouTube if I want to see a black message and not necessarily be entertained. I just want to be informed. I can read a book if I just want to be informed and not entertained. I'm watching this show that I'm paying this money for this subscription for. Entertain me.
Right.
I'm long winded. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's cool. You're good. I feel you. I didn't think Ghostbusters was that bad. I kind of liked it.
You said what?
I kind of liked it. Maybe because I watched it with my kids. Like, it's a cool movie for the kids, but like if you compare it, of course, I think no reboots are gonna ever be able to compare it to the original. Anyways, they're always gonna fall short no matter who you cast. Even if the originals redo it, I don't think it'll ever because we have an expectation. So, but I feel you on that. Um, I understand the message, but their delivery was trash. And there's just like, you know, this is where I kind of go into this validation because I think the characters, the husband and the wife, both have issues with validating who they are, right? They're not, they have to get the approval of some outside source to make them feel like, oh, we black AF, we black as fuck. What's his name? Kenya. I don't know his name. Kenya and this gold chain situation, you know, the sweatsuits, like the car. It's just like it's always overkill. And I understand that, sometimes black people feel like they have to show that they're good enough, but that's just doing too much. When you get to a certain point in your success, literally, Kanye wears holy shirts. He doesn't give a fuck, and he sells them for $1,000. Like, he don't care. You know, I don't. You know, there's certain things I feel like you should not have to do. To no one, no black person should have to prove their blackness, right? I feel that if you're successful in your own self and you support your people, I think that's enough. But I don't feel like a chain or a car or you don't have to constantly be reading conscious books. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much pressure. To a lot of people put a lot of pressure on like your blackness. The wife, she's mixed, and she always, just like Rainbow, has to prove herself that she's good enough and saying that she has this degree or she's a lawyer. You don't practice, so you're not a lawyer. Okay. So I want to know your thoughts on that.
So the problem I have with this is always the what is black enough? What does black look like? We're always trying to redefine it, and it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's in our own community. If you speak a certain way, if you're very articulate, if you know how to enunciate, you say you speak white. So from inside our community, you get pushed out.
Mhm.
Then you have to go find that approval from somewhere. Well, then the only other side of this, at least for us, is the white side of the coin. And if you have to almost be a buffoon, you almost have to do this outlandish clown shit to be fucking accepted. And it's weird because, like you said, right, being black, you shouldn't have to defend your blackness. I am what I am. Upside and downside to that is you do have to defend your blackness depending on the environment. You do have to speak up. You do have to be eloquent and present in that space. You don't have to be so fucking far gone that the chain episode pissed me off. So I was like,
Mhm.
dude, there's no fucking way. Not at 40 some years old, 6 kids, millions of dollars, you the dude, and you talking about this chain. It's kind of like Dre and his shoes on black.
Right. Exactly.
Like, dude, we get it. We get it. In our community, we glamorize and glorify materialistic things. There's also another side of the conversation that could definitely be had. It would have been dope to watch him manage money well. It would have been dope to watch him teach his kids how to stocks, bonds, things like that. You know what I'm saying? I go back to Jay-Z and the 444 album. It's kind of my situation of once you get to a place, I'm black as fuck, and I'm so good at this shit. I make money being just who the fuck I am.
Mhm.
Not I'm making money being whatever you think I should be. And I think, unfortunately, to Los's point, the recycling thing is Hollywood puts money in the shit that works. I'm gonna keep beating this fucking horse, and that's what Kenya Barris is doing. I'm gonna beat this fucking horse until it stops working. This is it stops working. Now he has to get creative.
Mhm.
Now he has to push the fucking envelope. He has to figure out what that next thing is for him because he can't do no more of this. So I have a beef with it from that standpoint, just because as a black man, I feel like we got enough shit against us that we shouldn't also have to fight the stereotypes. And white people are watching Netflix, saying no offense, and they are like, that's haha, that's funny,
Mhm.
clown, this buffoonery, saying? Because at no point do you have to teach a valuable lesson. At no point through the series does something progress that's like, here's the reality of this. It's like it just keeps getting goofy as fuck. It's like, what's the point? At least with Blackish, in some way, shape, or form, they try to tie it back into a lesson, into
Mhm.
a thought process, into a mentality. They close the show on a very good note. And this shit is just clown shit. Like, my mom would never fucking cuss at me like that. Nigga, like, and I couldn't damn sure I couldn't cuss in front of my mom. And I got a dirty fucking mouth. I know how the fuck I talk. But that shit was just so weird. Because now I feel like white people think we disrespect our parents like that. I'm gonna whoop my ass. Like, there's no way. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't like having to be put in a position where now I gotta have these talks with people on social media.
Mhm.
I have to, but I do feel compelled to defend the reality of what this is. You know what I'm saying? Of what we are as black people. And I see so many people in the argument, at least over the course of the last couple of days, that just feel like this shit was so clown. And it's like it's unfortunate because Kenya Barris in actual Hollywood sits in a very high seat amongst black creators. So you just knock the totem pole down.
Yeah.
And then to have what do you have Tyler Perry on the shit, he had Lena Waithe on it. Like you actually had other
Issa
black
Rae, yeah.
notable creators that people actually know by face
Right.
on it, which now puts all of them in question of why the fuck did y'all sign up for this and what did you think this was going to be? So I would love to see some dialogue now that they kind of see the negative comments. Like
Yeah.
how did they think this was going to go versus how it actually went, and then having some creative dialogue to help create new original shit. I don't like black remakes. I don't like all women remakes. Make something new. Be
Mhm.
creative. If you can't be creative, this isn't the space for you. That's me personally and creative.
Can I
Yeah.
can I piggyback on one of the things that Skylar was saying as far as him kind of dealing with the chain and kind of exaggerating the stereotype? That's why I praise Uncorked as much as I do on Netflix. You know, it was introducing something that doesn't necessarily have a color barrier, but it's definitely something that in the black community we're not used to. We're not used to dealing with the black sommelier. We're not used to seeing the ghettos of Paris, France. That was my first time seeing black, even though I know that there are black people in Paris, that was my first time seeing what's considered the quote black neighborhood in France. You know what I'm saying? Graffiti and stuff like that. Like that was my first time really seeing that. So to Skylar's point, showing a different side, showing that we could be more than just what our chains and what our cars and all this other shit. Show us, doing proper money management. Show us, being, you know, actual good parents without there having to be some kind of underlying reason. Oh, my marriage is fucked up, or I'm a former crack addict. That's why I'm always mad. Like, just give us something different. Show it because there is another side than what is getting portrayed in the media and what's getting portrayed on the silver screen and the big screen. There's another side. Just give us that other side. It's very fucking easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be an issue.
Yeah. That was actually one of the things that irritated me the most was one, I know the kids talk crazy, but the parents are extremely verbally abusive. I was like, this is how they talk to their kids, and this is how they're showing how black people talk to their kids. Like, this is crazy. So I can see why the kids talk back the way they talk because look at how they're initially spoken to. And I was a little shocked by that, and I really didn't like that as a parent. Like that's how this is what they're showing. Like that's crazy to me. I hated it. I really did. Um, that didn't sit well with me. Um, so I hope not. I personally hope not to see a season two, but there may be because white people may like it. So we might see another season two. I won't be watching it because I'm good. I'm good. I'll just watch Blackish.
That's the importance of our voice coming into play because they can if it wasn't getting panned the way it is on social media, there wouldn't be a season two
Yeah.
whatsoever. But because they are getting the dick whipping that they're getting on social media, and give a fuck what white people like it, they don't want to be a problem. They don't want to be a disruptor. So they'll pull the plug on that. Like, oh yeah, we heard you, black people. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And I don't know if this was an episode with Tyler Perry or if he said this someplace else. I'm pretty sure it was an episode with Tyler Perry where he was saying that he tells our stories, right? That people don't know why he's still doing stuff. I don't watch all Tyler Perry stuff. That angry black woman, my mom sold me to her boyfriend stories. They're kind of played out, but people still like them. There's a couple things that I may still check out, but when it comes to his content, because he's not mandated by anyone else but himself, and the people who view his products are his peers, people that look the same as we do. How do you feel about his content and how he's continue to kind of put out the same thing?
think initially, at least for me, he pulls from it's a solid place to pull from. I always think the best stories are honest stories as it pertains to your perspective. What I feel like happened with this was after the blackish and the grownish and the mixedish and we're ished out.
Yeah.
He did Girls Trip. He co-wrote on that. He on Girls Trip. I feel like at some place you run out of stories. It's just like a rapper, right? When it's rough and tough in the beginning, you have just this plethora of shit to pull from. But as your life improves, your stories have to start to improve and grow and change and express. But he's told Blackish from the winning perspective. Dre was already successful. Rainbow was already a doctor. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
had they done a show from before, when they first met or something and grew it into that, maybe there was room for that. But I feel like he is doing what Tyler Perry essentially did, and he has found this thing, and he is going to keep milking this motherfucker until money stops coming or people really start, bringing torches to the movie preview because it's just we're tired of the stupid shit. So I feel like unfortunately with this one, I'm hoping that he gets it and receives it well. But I do know creators are sensitive about our shit, and it just kind of is about what it is. Because I'm telling you, this is my story, and you just told me fuck your story.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's a hard thing to hear. It's a hard thing to receive. But I think he definitely needs to kind of go back to the drawing board and have some conversations because Issa Rae just dropped season 3, Insecure, and it is sparking a totally different conversation in our community. We're having a more effective creative dialogue around what she has. Lena Waithe has always dropped things that were thought provoking with the shy and shit. So it's like the people you had on your show, you need to go sit down with because you need to have a different conversation because there's going to be a season 2. Unfortunately, I think Netflix gave Kenya Bears $100 million contract to
That's all.
create
That's all you got to do to get that. Shit.
media exclusively for Netflix. So
Mm.
he is going to make more shows. So this, as Los pointed out, this is our time to have our voice. This is our time to have a creative dialogue, not just bash him and tell him shit's trash. Give him ideas, send him something. Maybe I don't know what he's receptive to, but at least in this space where we control what happens, hopefully he receives that in love and in time and gets something better.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of fucking money to do something better. There's no excuse.
Yeah. One thing I can appreciate about like Tyler Perry is that although we keep seeing like this, we've been seeing the same thing, the Medea stories and da 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 da. He has branched off to do other things like Sisters and The Oval, which The Oval, I like the storyline. The acting is what I have an issue with. The acting is a little painful. It's a little overacting, and a little bit on Sisters, but it's still a good. Like I keep up on Sisters. It's a good story, and it's different than what he's been giving. So if we can get, we just got to evolve a little bit. Like I need him to evolve. We get the successful black family. Okay, we got it. We got the we. It's kind of like Black is just like the new age Cosby Show, and then you have your spinoff when the kid goes to college. That works. So now what else? What else you got? So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So I want to. We're all. I'm not mixed, right? With nothing but black and black and black.
Where? What?
So I was gonna have my friend come on, and she's half black, and I wanted to because Rainbow and Kenya's wife, I forget her name on the show. They're half black, and although successful, they feel they have to validate themselves with their degree and tell everybody like, you know, whatever. So my question to her was going to be, she was raised. Her mom is black, so she was raised by a black woman. And when I look at the wife, that's Quincy Jones' daughter.
Rashida Johnson.
Yeah. So her mom is white. And she said, well, obviously she probably identifies as a black woman. There's been times where I've seen people who are mixed and their mom is white. They identify as white, but when their mom is black, they may identify as black. Have you
Logic.
seen that? Have you seen that? What are your thoughts?
Like the guy I just named, Logic. I used to follow a lot of his music, especially when I was in grad school. To me, it felt like it's gonna sound kind of fucked up, but it's just follow me. To me, it felt like he chose a side and he chose the white side, and it's like at the end of the day, I understand you may have your issues being biracial, especially with colorism being what it is in the world. I get that, but it's like you said, the fact that your story arc is the fact that you're half black and you're half white. To me, that's never going to be enough to give to give a character more. What's the word I'm looking for? I'll just throw some shit out there to give a character more weight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I'm light skinned or my dad is black and my mom is white, so this, that, and the third. I don't think that's enough to give a character enough weight. Like, give me what's actually going on, because again, I didn't catch the entire season, but I do watch Blackish. I don't see Rainbow getting so much shit for her being half black and half white. It's just kind of one of those. Well, you know what it's like to be half black and half white, so you should already understand what she's going through. Like, yeah, but we don't really see it though.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not too sure with Rashida Jones' character what she deals with in the show, but I think that there's more than I can. I'm just like you. I can't speak on it. I'm black. Shit, my family's from Guyana. I can't speak on the experience of what a biracial person goes through. I can't even speak on what the experience of what a light skinned all the way black person goes through. However, I can always speak on the experience of being black in general, and we know what's going on. We know what's happening. We know what the deal is. Instead of putting these people in these positions that now I have to fight even harder because I'm biracial, just give them fight. All you gotta do is give them fight. It doesn't always have to come down to be. It doesn't have to always come down to it being our color. Just
Mm-hmm.
give us fight. Give us a backbone. Because once we no longer, not saying that anybody on this conversation will be that way, but once we no longer give a fuck about our color and we immediately become some Uncle Toms and shit, there's no more story there. There's no more show. You know what I mean? As soon as we decide to give in to, what they would want us to be, there's no more play. So just let us be us. Let us operate how we normally. Give us the same shit that we're fighting for
Mm-hmm.
currently in real life. Just give us the room to do what we need to do. I don't think it should come down to what they're mixed with and all this other shit. Just give us a good story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's what they're doing. And my question is, do these characters feel like they need to validate their education because they're women, because they're moms, or is it because they're half black, or whatever?
Oh, I didn't answer the question. I'm sorry. uh, Go ahead, Scott.
So to that point, I think it matters because of the level of education they both have attained. So one's a lawyer, even though she has a practice, she still, still it takes nothing to get the chops back. And then Rainbow's a doctor on the other side. So it's like, much like Miss Huxtable, Sam, it wasn't just having a degree, it was the fucking level of degree you had. So you're operating out of a space, especially modernly, like there's not a lot of people that might look like you. You might be the only black person, so even being light skinned in that space or
Mhm.
mixed in that space, you are then put in a position where you have to choose. You know what I'm saying? You got to choose: is this the time for me to be black? Is this the time for me to be white? What gets me a bigger win professionally? I can't speak to the conflict because all day up and down I am black, but um, I think the level of education does matter, and I can speak to it from a level of having my master's degree, as Carlos could talk to it too. If you look at us, you don't even know that. We have to go out of our way to tell you before you continue talking to me the way you're talking to me, and then insult my intelligence. Let me make it very clear. I have an MBA, so don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And like, and you almost have to go out of your way in certain spaces just
Mhm.
to get a different response. If I go into a space and I want to rent out a club or a venue, they may not take me serious until I pull out the business card, until I show them the website, until like something like that. Like I have to do more than I feel like other people might have to do. So speaking from the black standpoint of that, education is very important, but it is something that depending on the space you have to use as a way in. This is how I bought my way in. This is how I validated and verified I can sit at this table and have these conversations at this level.
Mhm.
To that extent, I think I can connect with the concept of why they speak so much about the education, her being a lawyer and all that. But the kicking ass is the person that puts her down the most is her husband.
Yeah, that's
So
facts.
I'm like Bill Cosby and the Cosbys, he was always uplifting her, and his
Right.
ass did medical practice out the basement. Nigga, like, no,
Mhm.
like, he
And that
shit
shit
on
is suspicious now that you think about it. But I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna say
her.
out the base, medical practice, gynecologist, out the basement. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Pills.
I didn't like the situation of the person that put her down. It was never you never saw her at work. You saw her trying to write the book and push her book, and even in that, in the later episodes, he shitted on her because she was like trying to do a book signing while they was in Fiji on vacation. It was like, damn, nigga, like the whole fucking that season, like you never really supported your wife ever. Like,
Right. He's an asshole.
yeah,
If
he's a
this is if this is a depiction of him, he's a fucking asshole. Like this is how you treat your kids, this is how you treat your woman. I feel bad for them.
I
Period.
feel bad for your squad, man.
Yeah. Have did Claire Huxtable have to run off her accolades to everybody to validate herself? No. I just felt like she just had that. She had that confidence that you don't fuck with Claire. Don't fuck with Cliff's wife over there because
Right.
she will fuck you up with her words.
They threw it in there from time to time, which to me it works. You know, when you throw it in from time to time, you don't have to continuously do it.
Yeah.
I know with Blackish, it's almost like her episode.
Yeah.
Bo is trying to get her point across with the things that she does. Um, I agree with Skylar, and I'll be brief since I was long winded the other one with
You're
a
good. You're good.
long answer. I agree. You do have to go out of your way. One of the reasons I even started Beat was because it's just having these conversations and then going there and being this big black intimidating looking motherfucker, and I'm like, hey yo, I'm trying to get a show here. I'm trying to be a producer here. I immediately the first thought is, nah, I'm not hiring this nigga. I don't often change how I talk. I just talk. I
Hmm.
can't help it. It just is how it comes across. But yeah, trying to go out of your way to validate what you've done, not necessarily your blackness, just to get that respect. And 9 times out of 10, that respect is fear, because that's the one thing that the opposition hates is a black man, a black woman that speaks up. As soon as they do that, it's like, ooh, shell, tuck mine.
Hmm.
So yeah, I agree. It's a lot of times you have to remind somebody, like, I get what you see based off of your interpretation of what black people are, but trust me, I'm way more than that. I still whoop
Hmm.
your ass, but I'm also smart.
Right. And
Right.
white people don't have to go out there like, I'm so white. Like, this is how white I am. Like, I am so white. Like, they don't have to do that. I'm so white that I don't even use salt anymore. Like, I don't. Like, they don't have to do that.
So
you
you was like,
know?
what? I take it out the packet and into the oven. I don't wash it.
Right. Like, that's
Mm.
how white I am. Like, I just come home and get in bed. Like, like we're like, how white are you? You know what I'm saying? So
Potato salad. Someone hand me my raisin.
we can keep going with this. Like, we can just keep it going.
I'll
I
let
just,
y'all go. I love white. I don't like their food or the way they dance or their general existence, but I love white people.
Kool-Aid, water, and packet. That's it.
Sure,
A white person
sure.
taught me that there was directions on the back of a Kool-Aid packet. I had never looked at the back of a
For what?
Kool-Aid packet.
The recipe is handed down from our
Directions on the
ancestors.
Dog, it's just like the meme says, man. You just apply sugar into the ancestor state. That's enough.
Right. I didn't even know. Like, have you guys read the directions on a cup of noodles? Like, you're not even supposed to put it in the microwave.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that. I was like, oh, well, I don't eat that anymore. But when I did, that shit was definitely going in the microwave.
Yeah, the entire time, fill up with water and go from there.
Yeah. So, I remember when I was like, when I was a kid in like junior high, I used to get called white girl, and that used to hurt my little feelings because I didn't talk like, like a hood girl, right? So I just thought, probably just sound like white girl. It's whatever. It hurt my feelings, but I didn't feel like, it didn't hurt my feelings to the point where I felt like, oh, I need to do something to validate that I'm black. I know I'm black. My mama black. My daddy black. I get my black ass beat too. So I'm black, and there's nothing that I can do to be more of that because that's just who I am. Like, that's how I was born. And so I feel bad for the people who are in the position to feel like they have to do something to prove their blackness. Like, the black nerd, or the was it the black nerd, the new nerd, that the guy that I interviewed, just kind of go into that conversation where these black people are doing things that aren't conventionally what black people do, the cosplay, or what people think black people do. It doesn't fit into that box of what society built. And so it's like, why can't we just be us? And these are the things that we like to do. Why does it have to be all it is? So I don't know. That's just what I think. But my feelings weren't hurt as I grew up. I just grew into who I was, and that's just who I am. I knew that I was black. I knew I cared about black people problems and wanted to do what I could to move us forward. And it just is what it is. I just hope kids can not. I hope kids cannot continue to feel like that. Like, I asked my daughter, you know, those questions, and they don't really have that. They don't have like race issues as like I did when I was going to school here. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
My daughter does. My daughter is mixed, so that's kind of the downside. So she's black and Asian. So um, she's hyper aware that she's black. She grew up here in Seattle and in Utah. She knows I'm the only black kid in the class. Like, she's
Mm-hmm.
very aware of where she falls. And her mother and I do a solid job of making sure we reiterate you are human first. Everything else after that are labels the world puts on you, but you are human first. There's nothing that you are compartmentalized or boxed into be anything and everything you want to be. And the only reason I do that is because that's how I grew up. I've never been uncomfortable anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, with my name being Skylar, you don't think I'm walking in the door when you read my name on the piece of paper. But when I get there, I know how to be me everywhere. I don't change who I am depending on the group and things like that. And that's the thing I'm trying to teach my daughter now, just because as a grown up, I had the same issue as you. I didn't really fit in with the black kids. I didn't really fit in with the white kids. I was that dude that just whatever group I was in, I was a part of that circle for that time. And it's something I wish I could teach. I don't know if it's just something I inherently was born with, like you just kind of get to a place where you just I am who I am. I don't know how to teach that,
Mm-hmm.
per se. I try to show it and exemplify it, but you never know. 10 years from now, our kids might be assholes. I don't know. Like,
Well, they already are. So.
my daughter got a smart ass mouth. I'm like, oh yeah, you got to do it. I got so,
I think it's funny that you say that you kind of fall in where you fit in, because that's kind of like how I was. Like, I was cool with everybody, growing up, but I wasn't like in the black group with all the same Jordans. Like, that wasn't me. That definitely was not my life at all. And so it's funny because I guess during this quarantine, somebody started a group that had like the junior high and the high school that we all went to. And so they put everybody in this group that went to the schools, and they're posting pictures. And I'm not in none of them damn pictures. I was like, damn, did I go to this school? Where was I? Off in the cut somewhere, minding my damn business, because I really wasn't with all the black kids. I wasn't with the white. I definitely wasn't with the white kids. I was still me. I still wasn't really fucking with the white people, but I was cool with them to an extent. But but I just wasn't like in there like the stereotypical let's be black high school kids. I wasn't me. So we'll see how these kids grow up. They might be assholes. They might be entitled, spoiled asses like on Black AF. We'll see. So when it comes to material things, do you feel that there's things in your life that you get to feel that you're either validated financially or validated as a black person?
I know there's supposed to be things that validates us as black people, but I can only speak from my own personal experience. There's nothing physical that I can go out and buy that I'm going to be like, I feel blacker unless I go get like an Ankh or a Kente Kufi. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, yeah, I mean, I know there, like I said, I know there is stuff, but I've never been inclined to go out and get that. Well, maybe in Impala, but that's not because I'm black. I just fucking love Impala.
No, that's just because you're black. That's what black ass are. So let me ask you this question, and I'll ask Guy. So just like with Kenya, he got to a certain point where he was successful financially, and you can't take everybody with you, and you're not in your same neighborhood, you're not in your same environment, you're around completely different people, a lot of people that don't even look like you. So when you get into this environment and you level up financially, do you think that you would feel you still have to validate that I'm still down, I'm still black, y'all? You
No,
still like
because none of them niggas did anything to help me get what it is that I got. So I know I'm black. I literally wake up every day and I see it. When you turn the lights off, I would disappear. And I know my experiences. I know that when I go and see these people, I know when Beat gets to the place that we all wanted to get to, and we rubbing shoulders where we want to rub shoulders with people. I know that we're going to be the few, dark spots in the room.
nah, I don't agree with that. I think we can still rub shoulders with black shoulders and be okay.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But this is media is just it's not one of those black dominated areas, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, a lot of black owned media because they're I'm trying to tread lightly here.
Don't.
Okay, because because normally when you see black media, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be world star hip hop. It's gonna be
Shade room.
shade room. It's gonna be
Yeah.
all the shit where we're glorifying the fucketry that happens in the community. Those aren't going to be the ones we're going to be rubbing shoulders with because we're doing events. The same way we just did the Revolt Summit. Um, that's one of those situations where a majority of the media that was there was black. Oh, but all the big names was there as well, and majority of them were white. So now
Mhm.
you're in there and you try to get your position on the red carpet, and you kind of got to, hey, look out, G. You know what I'm saying? Give me some room up in here. Just because some black media don't mean that you're just going to disrespect me. I'm going to get in here and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. As far as catering to black people, I don't necessarily consider it catering. I think it's just doing what comes natural by presenting things that cater to my blackness, that caters to what I enjoy as a black man. And my people are either going to follow suit or they're not going to enjoy it because they definitely thought Blackish was going to be, but they didn't enjoy it. It's a hit and miss. But I'm not going to perpetrate the same stereotypes that we're always fighting. We
Mhm.
always fucking in public. We always shooting something up. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, portray this company as something like that. Me just being a black man and being in a top ranking position literally should be enough. As long as I'm not shitting on where I come from, I remember where I come from, and I'm still doing something for the people that I came up with. That's really all that matters. I don't need to get up in there and then almost in a sense coon. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm just coming in and making space.
Yeah. What about you, Skylar? Sky.
You good. Either way is what my mama named me. Give me the original question. I was
So
on like
so
jumping.
So the first question was, um, are there any material things or activities, behaviors that you feel that you need to do or have incorporated before to validate you as being someone who is black?
No, there's zero. As I sit here with my ankh tattoo and my protect, love, respect the black woman for HGC apparel shirt, and I'm in a black fraternity. I went to an HBCU. I did none of those things to validate my blackness. I did those things because
Want to?
I wanted, I wanted to go to college and be surrounded by people that look like me. Went to school my whole life and didn't do that, so I'm gonna do it when I got to college. I got the right to choose, and the full ride scholarship don't hurt. Wilberforce University, I got a shout out. Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, I got a shout out. You know,
And
gotta do what you gotta do. But I feel like I didn't choose any of those things or do any of those things to validate my blackness. I left college and then went to the United States Air Force and became a black officer in the Air Force. So I was the dude.
Hold on one second.
So, like I said, I was a black officer in the Air Force. I served my time. I did great things. I was always one of the very few black people in the military, at least at my level. You're hyper aware of those things, but I never had to do anything to prove I was the black guy. Everybody that knew me knew I was the dude that got things done. You gave it to me, I just got it done. It was black, white, otherwise. My leadership loved me. My peers, I feel like, respected me because I didn't fucking make excuses. I didn't lean on my blackness and be like, oh my God, make it easier. No, I was out here doing it and working twice as hard. And I think it came from how I grew up. My father, just like with Los, Julian, and everything, like we grew up understanding we just got to work harder. It just is what it is. I mean,
Mhm.
until harder became normal. Now we just outwork everybody. It just, I don't know what to tell you. So I never thought I had to buy something or do something or be a certain way to prove I was black. It's clear as hell. I am black and hyper aware of my blackness. I don't think you get to kind of turn it on, turn it off, step in and step out of it. You are what you are. As the world labels you, you are what you identify as. You label yourself.
bros, I fuck with that quote. Harder became normal. So now out working niggas is Tuesday. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's facts.
Yeah, yeah. Put that on the t-shirt. We up.
I like that. So the same question that I asked Carlos, when you do get to a point where you know, have made it or whatever, or you're financially set and you're not in the same environment as you were before, do you feel that there's going to be times where you feel like you still have to prove like your blackness?
I don't think that's going to exist for me. I've moved out of the neighborhoods. I went to nice levels, lived on the beach, had a nice house and shit, and then came right back to where the fuck I come from. Kind of the motto of our fraternity, or at least one of the ideas that we hold high, is the concept that you go to college, you get your degree to come back to the neighborhood you came from and pull other people out that neighborhood. So the reason I'm here in Vegas, we do what we do. I think there's always an opportunity to be philanthropic. At least with B Network, we've done things for the community, and with our fraternity, we've done things for the community. It's always about exemplifying that, not so much for the sake of I'm doing this so you guys know I know where I came from. It's from an authentic, fucking genuine place. I
Mhm.
care about my community. I care about where the fuck I grew up. I know where the fuck I came from. I know who my people are. And if I need people to validate my presence, there's enough people in North Vegas and Las Vegas that can talk about who the hell I am. If you don't know me, somebody up the street, somebody around the corner, somebody at Mario's Market, people know who the fuck I am. They know I grew up here, actually lived here, and from here. I think what black people fail to think or realize sometimes is even while you're building your empire, building your wealth, or building your business, or whatever it is that you're building, there's always opportunities to give back. It's not always monetary. Sometimes people just need to physically see you exist in that space. And if they can physically see you exist in that space, that to me is greater validation than me trying to prove to you, look how black I am. Look, I came from nutty North Las Vegas. Like, so like nobody cares about that.
Mm-mm,
Like,
nobody cares.
so what have you done in your life from here up that got you where you are, and can you teach? Can you pull somebody else out? Is it actionable? Are there actionable steps? So for me, that's what's key and important as far as to the perspective of your question. I don't think I'm put in that position. I think I'm always gonna pull my people out.
Okay.
And then it's also an internal battle as well with other black people. Like a lot of people consider a lot of black people consider giving back to the black community as being on some Nino Brown shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm handing out turkeys in the back of the mail truck. You know what I'm saying? Or I could have just donated $1 million to an HBCU. It's just if I'm giving back is giving back. Just because I'm not giving back in the way that the streets want me to,
That's facts.
don't mean I'm not giving back to my people.
Right. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, okay, just because I made it doesn't mean I got to give you the money. Because what
Right.
you going to do? You probably not going to appreciate it anyways.
Yeah, I
So,
got a bunch of them niggas getting flat screens when that 1200 dropped.
right. So I want to give back the way I want to give back. And however that looks, that's just how it looks. I'm going to prove
Right.
myself to anybody. And, my give back could just be to everybody. It might not just be to black people. It might be to a situation, instead of just because we black. And my last question is referring to Kenya because he did get to, he's a successful black man. What do you think is really going on with him as to why he feels that he needs to validate himself? Carlos.
um, I think, and I can speak personally from this. I think because he's kind of playing that middle ground where he knows that he's never going to be fully accepted from the white people in the industry because of his color. He also knows he's never going to be accepted from his own skin folk because he's not doing something that we would normally do or we normally would, try to go for. So I think he's trying to play the middle ground too much
Hmm.
to the point where he's trying to cater to both sides that both sides feel okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? I think you're black, but I think you also can put your blackness aside to do stuff for us. Like I think he's walking the tightrope too much.
Hmm. He got that black ass painting in his house, and not because he liked it, but because and he was all wrong about what the what the painting even meant. But getting things just to be like, "Oh, I got this just because it's black. Like
Yeah.
there's certain things that are black as fuck that I don't wear because it's not my style, it's not my thing. I wear what I like to wear because that's just what I like. Um, I don't wear the big onks necklaces and shit like that. That's not me. I might wear crystals. And so I think that it's definitely a confidence issue from within as to why he feels that he needs to prove himself because all you need to prove yourself to is yourself.
Mhm.
Personally, that's just what I think. What about you, Sky?
So I feel like he's not an actor. He was put in a unique situation where he actually ended up playing his actual self. I don't think the intent was for him to be the actual star of this show. Again, being an executive and kind of operating from that space, I feel like he feels compelled to work on both sides of the coin. You have to make money. Whatever you do has to make money. It has to be successful. Like Los talking about the Nielsen ratings and things like that. They won't keep making shows or making space for us to make shows if shows are not successful. The second that black shows are no longer successful, this man happens to have a good track record of making black content that is working.
Mm-hmm.
Even Girls Trip outsold what anybody ever thought it was going to do. So he's done a great job in that lane. And I think now he's just feeling the pressure of continuing the success long enough to create a legit foundational space. Tyler Perry has his studio and that's a beautiful thing, but many of us don't agree with Tyler Perry's content and presentation of us, whether it's on big screen or small screen on any TVs and things like that. So it's kind of, I think he feels the pressure from both sides. Um, and that's all I can kind of speak to from a personal space. It's unfortunate, but somebody got to take the first bullet. Somebody got to eat shit. Or somebody has to be the guy even get shitted on by your own team. And I think he sits in the seat where he kind of has to take the L. So that way the leaner waste can happen, the Isas can happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? He took the L and did it in a corny way, or we don't necessarily agree. But now we have the shot, we have insecure, you have some of these other things that you didn't fucking have before Blackish became what the fuck Blackish became. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I will speak to that brother and give him love and appreciation for what he's done. But now I think the next step in his career is you you can't sacrifice your legitimacy and your values and your core self for the money. At some point, you got to sit there and say, "This is stupid shit," and I'm not gonna do this shit. I commend Dave Chappelle because that's exactly what he did, and I think he exemplified that for generations to come. That dollar should never buy your value. You know what I'm saying? Like self-respect.
I agree.
Can I hit you with an interview question, Rachel?
Sure.
I can't help it. Is it's also my job. But this goes back to doing for Black people. How do you feel about? I mean, I've heard it worded this way, but I really don't like it worded that way. Reverse gentrification. How do you feel about Black people actually going back and buying back the block? And my example to that is like what Nipsey Hussle did, where he owned that whole square, and there was never any bullshit. You know what I'm saying? In his whole pavilion. How do you feel about Black people doing? If you're going to go to the extreme that you're going to literally put your block on, how do you feel about that route? I guess.
I feel a couple different ways. I feel like us investing in these neighborhoods that were our neighborhoods is amazing. Someone that was in Nipsey Hussle's position, I feel he should not have been the face of that because you're going to be flagged, right? So, me personally, I don't care if I'm not famous or famous. When I do things, if I'm going to invest in something that's probably going to piss some white person off, and where we're starting to gain control of a large amount of land and start changing the way that these people in this area think, we need to do that in a way that's not having us on Front Street. So they don't even know. They got to now do some research to figure out who's doing what, right? We don't have to, when we do things, we don't have to tell the world. We don't have to show the world. We can get these properties in Chicago and in Detroit. Even, my mom was telling me in Ohio, they have properties that you could buy them for like less than $100 and flip them. My thing is we can invest in these neighborhoods, but we also have to invest in the people too. So we can build up these houses, make them look nice, but what are those people going to do in that neighborhood? Are they still running with that same mentality of not having anything and not appreciating something? Because they're still being handed something that they didn't have to work for, right? So I think investing in that property and reverse gentrification is great. Um, but we also have to look at the mentality of the people in that area too, and put money and education in that community, and not just buy the property because it's going to give us monetary value. um I think, is it Chicago? Where do they do the house music? It's Chicago, right?
The where?
House music. So I think it was like a cell phone store, maybe like a Metro PCS, but they be bumping house music out there, and that's what that neighborhood does. And because some white people bought up some property, now they want to call the cops. But you came to this neighborhood. This is what we've been doing for years. You can't come in this neighborhood and tell us we can't do this just because you saw low value property and now you want to try to set the rules. You just invaded a whole culture. So my thing is if we are going to invest in making sure that we keep control of our neighborhoods and the properties that are ours, so that we can preserve the little bit of culture that we do have, we definitely can do that, but also look at the people too. I don't know if I answered the question, but that's my answer.
No, that's the exact scholar.
Oh man, look, I love the idea, I love the concept, but Ray says on the very valuable point is not just buying back your neighborhood, it's your neighborhood buying into your support. It's your neighborhood understanding what you're trying to do. Like if you want to buy the hood back, you don't want it to flip back and be in the hood. You want it to actually be better. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the businesses that are coming, it's who owns it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? That's all we're trying to change. So I'll still put a motherfucking Jamba Juice in the middle of the hood. I'm just saying.
I love Jamba
I
Juice.
love Jamba Juice, man. Give me a razzmatazz. That's something. But
Franchise that bitch. Or
right,
create your own Jamba Juice. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And
Be your
that's
own thing and make the community buy. The community has to support you too.
right.
And that's the thing about gentrification. Gentrification, they just buy the shit, and you walk up one day and it's some whole other shit, and nobody
boss.
you fucking know like they was changing your favorite, your favorite convenience store or your liquor store. This shit just changed. That's always gonna be met with animosity. When people actually believe in what you're trying to do. That's what Nip did. He let people know I'm building this, whether it's his music or his presence. The community knew what the fuck that corner was. Saw him do it. He documented like he fucking made documentaries about it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the key. The reverse gentrification.
And that's like I guess I hate to to go back to that conversation. I know you're trying to wrap up, but I think that's just like one of the major hills that we got to get over when we're trying to give back to our community. Is our community prepared for what we're willing to give back? Because, like I said, I could take that $1 million and I can invest it into an HBCU, or I could take that $1 million and I could break ground somewhere in one of these areas. But how do I know that that property, that area I just broke ground in, I don't know that's going to still be standing because of what the community possibly did to it. So it's like we can give back all day, but what are we going to do with it once they
Right.
get back?
And this is my point. I'm going to say it no matter what, is everybody can't go with us,
Yeah.
right? It's going to be a lot of people that's going to be left behind. And these people who are doing the same things in these neighborhoods, some of those people are there to be left behind. And maybe it's not for us to go in and build up these neighborhoods that were standing, because the people there may not appreciate it, or you're gonna still have these thug niggas trying to shoot the place up. Okay, so then what do we need to do? We need to implant ourselves somewhere else and build up from there. We can only do so much. It's like not everybody has that same mentality. And so of a community, what's the percentage of someone who's thinking in the bigger picture? Who's still thinking like a nigga? A lot of them, unfortunately, you know. And it sucks to say that, but a lot of them are, because they may not even know any better. And so it's going to take some time to instill in those people the values that it's going to take in order to level ourselves up, so that we can have nice things, so we can keep nice things, so that when a new store opens up, we don't have to worry about it getting shot up or robbed or whatever. What's the reason behind these behaviors? Let's talk about that first before we start building stuff up.
Agreed.
Yep, agreed.
So thank you guys for taking the time out and creating a great conversation. Before we go, just let everybody know where they can find you.
Mine
Sky.
is I'm Sky Ward _88 on IG. That is the best place to find me. Outside of that, any Beat Network platform, you'll also find a way to contact me.
At Big Los IG on IG, at The Noise Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and of course, BeatNetworkOnline.com for everything. Again, apologies to y'all. I know I am long-winded, and I can answer 3 questions before they get asked. So it's always been my way. But yeah,
It's all good. We need the content, and I think it's a conversation that definitely needed to be had. I've been doing a lot of interviews, so this is kind of like the first show in a while that has just been basically topic based. So I appreciate you guys for that, and shout out to all the guests, that's been popping in and reaching out and stuff. Um, make sure you guys tune into Melanin Blvd every Thursday. A new episode of the After Dark will be in a couple weeks. You can check that out on Patreon when that's available. And make sure you follow Melanin Blvd and Rach Da Gem. And don't forget to tell your friends, tell their friends, and maybe we could be friends to tune in every Thursday to Melanin Blvd. All right, bye guys.